So we're looking at this passage running from page 105 until page 111. We're looking at McCarthy's stylistic techniques. So the question is, how does he build tension in the scene? We're specifically focusing in on three different things. We're looking at how he's describing the setting. We're looking at his use of pacing. And we're looking at the tension between the father and the son. Okay, who wants to start us off? Sure, but the set, just focus on the setting.
The setting is like dead grass. There's a lot of like negative
yes.
adjectives like dark, dirt,
yep.
like dead.
Yes.
And
yep. Where is the house, Lauren? Where is it located? Page 105. Let's have a look. They'd had no food and little sleep in 5 days, and in this condition, on the outskirts of a small town, they came upon a once grand house, sited on a rise above the road. So where is it? It's on the outskirts, just outside a small town. So it's kind of secluded. It's away from other places. Okay, and it's in a once grand house. What does that kind of suggest? Used to be grand, but now? Not at all anymore. Does this remind you of any type of genre of... Do you understand? Thank you, well done. He's adopting horror conventions here through the setting. Well done. Okay? The boy's still holding his hand, right? Let's come down a little bit. We got... The windows were oddly intact, but the rest of the place is all quite faded. Okay? The house is tall, it's quite imposing, once grand, but it's dilapidated. It's fallen to bits. Okay, it's exactly like a haunted house. So well done. So atmospheric details, dilapidated, mansion on the outskirts of town, right? Well done. Anything else about the setting? How it's presented? Have a look. Bottom of page 105, right? What is this place, Papa? Shh. Let's just stand here and listen. There was nunning, the wind rustling, the dead roadside bracken, a distant creaking, door shudder. What's he giving us? Yeah, these elements straight out of a horror movie, right? The wind rustling, a distant creaking. All these horror elements are being introduced all of a sudden. Okay? Very good. This all builds a sense of foreboding, a bit of tension. Okay? Now, very good. So we got, let me just write this down. We have the wind rustling. There's silence, right? Just the wind rustling. But then we have a distant creaking. Very good. Anything else here about the setting that you noted down? Well, have a look on page 107, okay? They're going from room to room. They're investigating this house. Top of page 107, he took the pistol from his belt and tried the door. It swung slowly on its great brass hinges. Okay, everything is suddenly gone slow. Okay, everything is creaking. So we could talk about the pacing now as well. How does he manipulate pacing?
And the pace is very slow at first, but it's kind of, as in a horror movie, it's just a jump scare sound point, but they slow.
Well done.
Very extreme.
Yes. Basically, the narrative slows right down. The narrative slows down as the father and son explore the house. So he has these minute descriptions of the house's interior suddenly proliferate. He starts really describing in minute detail little things which he hadn't been doing before. Okay, I'll give you some examples. So page 106, they approach slowly up the drive. No tracks in the random patches of melting snow. A tall hedge of dead privet, an ancient bird's nest lodged in the dark wicker of it. They stood in the yard, studying the facade. Okay, all these descriptive details hadn't really been a feature of the narrative thus far. Suddenly he's taking great care to describe everything. And it slows the pacing right down. Okay? Right. This is exactly like, just as in a horror movie. And you mentioned sounds like a jump scare. As if we're being prepared for a jump scare. Okay? So I would say there's basically suspense through detail. Through dense detail. When is something going to happen? When are the bad guys going to jump out? Because we suddenly start expecting it. Now what about the tension between the father and the son? What are you noticing? How does the son react to this place?
Well, the boy is dead.
Have a look. Bottom of page 105. The father says, I think we should take a look. The father's driven by survival, right? They're starving. They need food. I think we should take a look. Papa, let's not go up there. It's okay. I don't think we should go up there. It's okay. We have to take a look. So something is telling the son, right? Let's not go up there. And notice how it keeps on being repeated. I don't think we should go up there. Something instinctually tells the son there's something to fear here. And from this point, just notice the rising tension. The boy is described as clinging to him. The boy clung to him as they climbed the steps. Okay? What if there's someone here, Papa? There's no one here. We should go, Papa. Okay? And on we go. Page 107. Again, the boy hung on to his hand. He was terrified. And the father? Father keeps saying, shh, we have to explore, right? Now they find a large padlock. There's a door that's locked. Have you ever seen this in a horror movie? don't open it. What's the father do? He kind of opens it, doesn't he? Again, right? The father says, there's a reason this is locked. Yeah, of course there is. The boy pulled at his hand. He was almost in tears. Papa, he said, we've got to eat. I'm not hungry, Papa. I'm not. So we have this kind of tension, right, running throughout between the father and the son. Okay? The son is terrified. He's petrified of this place. Something instinctually tells him there's something wrong here. There's something off. There's something weird. Okay? But father has to explore. He's driven by this need to survive. They have to eat. Right? Go to page number 110. Because everything's been building up, right? To something happening. And here we have it. He started down the rough wooden steps. He ducked his head and then flicked the lighter and swung the flame out over the darkness like an offering. Cold and damp. An ungodly stench. The boy clutched at his coat in fear, in panic. He could see a stone wall, clay floor, an old mattress darkly stained. He crouched and stepped down again and held out the light. Huddled against the back wall were naked people, male and female, all trying to hide, shielding their faces with their hands. On the mattress lay a man with his legs gone to the hip and the stumps of them blackened and burnt. The smell was hideous. They're not... Wait a second. Are they dead? Let's find out. Jesus, he whispered. Then one by one they turned, Eleni. They're not dead. They turned and blinked in the pitiful light. Help us, they whispered. Please, help us. Christ, he said. Oh, Christ. He turned and grabbed the boy. Hurry, he said. Hurry. And suddenly now there's panic. There's terror. Okay. He dropped the lighter. No time to look. Very short sentences. Straight out of a horror story. He pushed the boy up the stairs. Help us, they called. Hurry. A bearded face appeared blinking at the foot of the stairs. Please, he called. Please. It's fantastic writing. The rising tension, the drama, the short sentences. Wonderful. Hurry, for God's sake, hurry, hurry. Okay, this is horror at its best. He shoved the boy through the hatch and sent him sprawling. He stood and got hold of the door and swung it over and let it slam down. And he turned to grab the boy. But the boy had gotten up and was doing his little dance of terror. Right, look at all the verbs here. He shoved the boy. He sent him sprawling. He stood and got hold of the door and swung it over and let it slam down. He turned to grab lots of verbs all in a row. Desperate action. Okay, he's frantic. And there's the boy doing his little dance of terror. For the love of God, will you come on? He hissed. The father's furious. He's terrified. But the boy is pointing out the window, and when he looked, he went cold all over. Coming across the field, dun, 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 toward the house, just outside, were 4 bearded men and 2 women. He grabbed the boy by the hand. Christ, he said, run, run! Who are these people? These 4 bearded men and 2 women. Who are these people? These are the bad guys. How do we know they're the bad guys? They have captured and imprisoned the other people. You are right. What are they doing with these captured and imprisoned other people? it looks like, well, remember this guy? His legs gone to the hip, the stumps of them blackened and burnt. Okay, they've taken his legs. No, they're taking their time. Now, guys, think about the impact of this on the son, on the child. Right? I've never seen the movie. I actually don't know, is it in the movie? I don't know. I have a feeling, I'm sure it is in the movie. Okay? Now, think about the lasting impact this is going to have on the son. You enjoying this, Matisse?
Yeah.
Okay? This is the world they live in. Do you remember, right? The Forder's so scared, right? The conflict in the Forder with only 2 bullets. Can you do it? We get a realization here of just kind of what a world has emerged. Okay, after the apocalypse. Okay, this is brilliant writing. Okay, he really manipulates the reader over these pages, right? Loads of wonderful details of the setting. It's a haunted house. He slows the pacing right down. This takes like 6 pages, just going from room to room. Sometimes weeks will pass within 6 pages. Okay? But he slows it right down. And that tension between the father and the son, the repetition. The son was right. Okay? Now, new question. Let's turn the page. Turn the page, guys. I want us to go back here. I want us to consider something. Okay? I want us to consider where are we? Stanislav? Where is this big house? The house was tall and it was stately with white Doric columns, like the columns, right, in the front. Okay? What kind of house is this? The son is asking, what is this place, Papa? And it's a good question. What is this place, guys? Do we know? This is a haunted place, isn't it? The question is, what haunts this place? Let's go. Next page. Where is it? We're actually told down here, watch, page 106. So the boy clung to him as they climbed the steps. One of the windows was slightly open and a cord ran from it and across the porch to vanish in the grass. He held the boy's hand and they crossed the porch. Chattel slaves had once trod those boards, bearing food and drink on silver trays. They went to the window and looked in. Chattel slaves. Slaves that were bought and sold in the market of America. Yes, exactly. The rich plantation owners of the South, they built these big plantation mansions on the outskirts of a town. Big, huge mansions. Very they would be white with these columns across the front. Do you understand? Right? So this is a haunted place, and what haunts it is slavery. What we have here is kind of the past continues to haunts the future. Do you understand? Because we have, well done, exactly. Okay? They're locked up. They're imprisoned. They're being used and exploited. Okay? So I want to take a little bit of time, consider this a bit more. Hey Lisa. So I want you to think, actually, is this significant? He sets this incredible scene, very memorable scene, in a plantation mansion, thereby evoking the spectre of slavery and dehumanization through historical illusion. Is this done on purpose? What does the narrative gain through such historical illusion?
Like, during slavery, it was also people like making an inhumane use of other people.
Yes.
The bad guys are consuming exploiting the
Yes, very good. I'm going to write down a couple of ideas. So even though civilization and culture has been smashed, obliterated, even though culture and civilization has been obliterated, in the pages of the road, the historical past continues to haunt the future. Okay? This past demands recognition. Demands recognition. Do you understand? And the history, the terrible history bleeds in. It bleeds into the future in this scene, right? Okay? I'm using here an idea by a French philosopher called Jacques Derrida. He talks about something called hauntology. He talks about the past re-emerging. Okay? How the past can't be suppressed. It haunts the present, right? He talks about specters of the past, ghosts of the past, specters of the past. Right? Do you understand? So he's making us aware of a couple of things. He's making us aware of how, what injustice, dehumanization and evil. Right, carries across time. Do you understand? This place, the mansion, is a site. It's a location. It's a site or location that has inherited violence. By the way, McCarthy is a writer from the southern states. He lived Texas, El Paso, the last 30 years of his life. Okay. It's location. It's inherited violence, right? And it's inherited trauma. Now, this violence and trauma can basically erupt into the present, or the future in this case, if not addressed. Do you understand? It needs to be addressed. The horrors of the past need to be addressed. If not, the ghosts remain. And this is what McCarthy is pointing out here. Maybe America still needs to face up to the horrors of its past in these plantation mansions. What McCarthy is doing, though, is he's suggesting how it continues into the future, right? Yes. What are you thinking about, Stanislav? Yes. Actually, the boy, not so far later, the boy is explicitly compared. In a passage, he's starving, right? He's compared to somebody who's been in a concentration camp. Do you understand? So McCarthy is definitely, he's drawing on, going a little bit off topic, but do you get this idea here of hauntology? Okay? The historical past can continue to haunt the present, even the future, if it's not properly addressed. And Derrida is interested in how literature can make us aware of the trauma of the past. Does that make sense? That's one thing literature is good for. And it can seek to make readers aware of wrongs and injustices committed in the past. Because guys, when you think about it, slavery was all about gross dehumanization. It was about exploitation of bodies, right? Okay, it was black bodies, it was exploitation of bodies. It was bodies seen as commodities. And guess what? In the scene, it's exactly the same. Okay? It's kind of interesting here. Right? He's making us aware of history, horrors of the past. His message is a little bit bleak. They can continue into the future if not properly addressed. And you're right, going back to Stanislav. This is very much a survival narrative, okay? They are basically starving across these pages. They're eating snow. just to survive. The father is wondering how many days do they have left. And in this way, it recalls the survival narratives from Auschwitz. It's all about survival. I talked last week about Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. There's meaning in suffering. Okay, we're survivors, the photo says. And McCurdy seems to have that in mind here. Okay, let's go on. It's actually, this is the bleakest section. Just before things turn, right? Things change. It does get quite bleak. Now, the next part. Let's go to page 112. They've rushed outside. Okay? They've rushed outside. They're in the leaves. Their hearts are pounding. The father wants to cough. The son, of course, is petrified. Okay? I want us to read the next section. It's extremely powerful writing. It raises some moral questions, some ethical dilemmas. There's some existential themes here I want us to think about. Okay? So they crawled slowly through the leaves towards what looked like lower ground. He lay listening, holding the boy. He could hear them in the road talking. It's the bad guys. Voice of a woman. Then he heard them in the dry leaves. He took the boy's hand and pushed the revolver into it. Remember this revolver? The revolver's been there since the opening pages, hasn't it? It's mentioned over and over again. Why do they have a revolver? On one hand, you're right. On one hand, it's for protection. We've seen before it used. Remember the road rat?
Yeah, but the conversation from others kind of implied that rather, when they had 3 bullets,
yeah,
they would just kill themselves.
That's it. Because there's a fate worse than death, a possible fate worse than death, that is being captured by people like they just saw out the window. Okay. He pushed the revolver into the son's hand. Take it, he whispered, take it. The boy was terrified. He put his arm around him and held him. Now it's very important. Just notice what the father is doing and has always been doing is out of love. His body's so thin. Don't be afraid, he said. Don't be afraid. If they find you, you're going to have to do it. Do you understand? Shh. No crying. Do you hear me? You know how to do it. You put it in your mouth and point it up. Do it quick and hard. Do you understand? Stop crying. Do you understand? How old is the boy, guys? We don't really know a specific age, but we know he's young enough to be carried. And I have some small kids at home. I can't carry my 9-year-old anymore. Do you understand? I can just about carry my 6-year-old. But the father's carrying the boy at times throughout the novel. The boy is young, right? Do you understand? I think so. No. Do you understand? Yes. Say yes, I do, Papa. Yes, I do, Papa. He looked down at him. All he saw was terror. He took the gun from him. No, you don't, he said. I don't know what to do, Papa. I don't know what to do. Where will you be? It's okay. I don't know what to do. Shh, I'm right here. I won't leave you. You promise? Yes, I promise. I was going to run to try and lead them away, but I can't leave you. Papa, shh. Stay down. I'm so scared. Shh. And then there's this. This is again free indirect discourse. We go from third person slipping into the father's thoughts. Okay? They lay listening. Can you do it? When the time comes. When the time comes, there will be no time. Now is the time. Curse God and die. What if it doesn't fire? It has to fire. What if it doesn't fire? Could you crush that beloved skull with a rock? Is there such a being within you of which you know nothing? Can there be? Hold him in your arms, just so. Hold him in your arms. Hug him. The soul is quick. Pull him towards you. Kiss him. Quickly. And here, do you notice how we've slipped into the language of love? Hold him in your arms, just so. Pull him towards you. Kiss him quickly. So what is this telling us? What's it telling us about what the father thinks they must do? What's the moral question being posed to readers? Yeah, that's it. Well done, Eleni. Is it justified under these circumstances? Would it be an act of kindness? Could you do it if the time comes? There is no time, now is the time. And he uses that language, right? The language of religion. He says, could you crush that beloved skull? Remember, he looks at the son and he says, look, if he isn't a creature of God, there is no God. Remember we said that in the opening pages? He looks at the sun and all he sees is the last remnants of truth, beauty, goodness in the world. And he's asking himself here, right? Can you do it?
It's kind of similar to the story of Abraham.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
It
is.
was also like his son was like a joy to him and was so happy, but still he had to sacrifice him, like wanted to sacrifice him for God.
Very good. Excellent. Now, sounds like what you just said is very true. It's very applicable to an understanding of the novel. There's an essay here, Stanislav, which goes through. It's called The Absurdity of Hope in Cormac McCarthy's The Road. In his copy of the first draft of The Road, he writes down the words Kierkegaard, Abraham and Isaac. He has in his mind Abraham and Isaac. Okay? So Abraham is a very important figure in religion. Actually, you know, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, they're called the Abrahamic religions. Okay? They all trace their roots back to Abraham. Now, Abram was told by God to kill his son. Okay? And he was going to do this. At the same time, he was told that he would be the father, do you understand, of these great religions. So in Abraham, you had two things simultaneously. You had faith and you had doubt. And they were wrestling within Abraham throughout this story. And here's the thing, McCarthy has this in mind throughout the story. The fate of the father wrestling with the doubt. Maybe it's for nothing, it's all meaningless. But he doesn't abandon, here's what's really important, guys. He doesn't abandon the son. He stays with the son. You understand? I'll talk a little bit more next week about the story, the biblical story. Okay? And McCarthy is a writer who's very knowledgeable. He's got a lot of biblical allusions as well. For example, here it says, curse God and die. This is actually also from the Bible. There's a story of a guy called Job in the Old Testament. These words come from the book of Job. Now, Job is a guy whose fate is tested. It's extremely tested. Basically, everything that could go wrong in Job's life goes wrong. The question is, can you still have faith? Even when everything goes wrong, can faith still be possible? Well, guess what, guys? In the road, everything has gone wrong. There's been an apocalypse. Everything's destroyed. There's no animals. There's no fish in the seas. There's no birds in the sky. There's no cows. He's daydreaming. He's so starving. He's thinking about cows. And he realizes there's no cows left. They're extinct, right? They were bad guys. They're in great peril. Looks like they might be caught here, right? If they're caught, there's a fate worse than death awaiting them. Do you understand? Can you still have faith? Well, they have the fire, don't they? They have the fire. They escape. They escape. They wait for night. Right? Hold him in your arms. Just so. The soul is quick. Pull him toward you. Kiss him quickly. He doesn't abandon the son. He stays with the son. They wait it out. And in the night they escape. They escape. Now, this obviously has an enormously traumatic influence on the son. Right, let's go to page 128. The son is crying, right? The father wants to know, why is the child crying? And obviously the child is crying because of what the son witnessed back in the house, okay? What did he witness? Well, he witnessed the bad guys. And he witnessed the worst of humanity. And he's asking these questions. We wouldn't ever eat anybody, would we? No, of course not. Even if we're starving, we're starving now. You said we weren't. I said we weren't dying. I didn't say we weren't starving, but we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't. No matter what? No matter what. Because we're the good guys? Yes. And we're carrying the fire. And we're carrying the fire, yes. Okay. They're carrying the fire. They're carrying the fire. What does this phrase mean? We're halfway through the book. What does it mean to carry the fire? What does it mean? Yes. Carrying the fire means. Now, what does good? Sorry, Emily. What does good mean? 1 second. Let's go and do this quickly. We're carrying the fire. You're right, Eleni. But what does good mean? What are you thinking? Hope. Never give up hope. Well, that's true. Even in the darkest moments, carry the fire of hope. We've seen that. Now, a couple of pages later, they find water and they find apples. And then, a couple of pages after that, they find a whole storehouse, like a miracle. One of the reasons why they have this incredible, miraculous luck is they always hope. They never give up. He even says it. We're the good guys. We never give up hope. He does. He exactly says that, right? Yeah. He says that. We're the good guys. We never give up. Never give up hope. But what else does it mean, they're carrying the fire? You're right, it means good. But what does good mean? Morality. Yes, they are moral. They make moral decisions. Even though they're starving, they will make the right decisions. Even though they're starving, they don't eat dogs.
Yeah, when they find the storage, the boy asks
Yes.
if they're definitely the owners that do not benefit
Yeah.
from
Nope. Why not? They don't eat dogs or humans. Why not? Because? That's what, exactly. Those who've lost their humanity, they retain their values, right? Values of humanism. They retain their values. These are beliefs in humans, right? What's called humanism, right? And to a certain degree, there's a little bit of religious ideas here, right? Or religious or ethical ideas. Okay? When they find all the stuff that's been hidden, the boy says grace. He has this spark of within him that just acknowledges others. This goodness, right? In a sense, you can think about it being religious, but remember, all religions are basically ethical systems at the end of the day. Okay? They're carrying the fire. Now, does anybody know any myth about somebody who takes fire from the gods? Have you ever heard this? Prometheus. Prometheus, myth of Prometheus, right? Prometheus. In the ancient Greek, do you know this, Eleni? No. Oh. Are you sure you're Greek? I'm kidding. In the ancient Greek myths, Prometheus is an important figure. He stole fire from the gods, right?
And he made a sacrifice for it, and he's also like suffering.
Yes. He suffers for his sacrifice, yes. It's again another story all about suffers for his sacrifice. Now, what does the fire symbolize? Fire in the myth is what helps civilization come about. It is the spark of civilization. Do you understand? They're keeping the fire going through their ethical, moral decisions. They're carrying the fire. It's the fire of civilization. The problem is, so far in the novel, it doesn't look like there's anybody else out there carrying the fire. The world seems quite bleak and hostile. Okay. Now, I don't want it all bleak. I want to start to finish on a happy note. Guys, let's have a look. They find something great. Yeah, this is it. Page 137. Highlight this. This is what you said, guys. Eleni and Stanislav. The son is scared, right? He's been deeply traumatized by that haunted house. He doesn't like locked doors anymore. Well, would you? But the father is trying to tell him, no, we gotta do this. This is what the good guys do. This is what you guys have to do for your IB, guys. Don't go off sick. Quotation marks around the sick, okay? Don't give up. This is what the good guys do. They keep trying. Right? They don't give up. Have you ever heard you create your own luck? Right? A miracle, if you actually think about it, a miracle is something unexpected, against the odds. There's a chance in a million. But guess what, guys? If you never give up, if you keep trying, that 1 in a million shot, it's possible. Do you get it? And this is what the Father does. He makes the miracle happen by not giving up. Okay. Now, here we go. Page 138. They go down. He goes down into the bunker. Okay. And this juxtaposes with that haunted house. Okay. The bunker is walled with concrete block. He gets his lighter he gets the lamp working. Oh my God, he's whispered. Oh my God, what is it, Papa? Come down, come down. And it's quite interesting he evokes God. Because here we have the manna from heaven. Do you know what's the manna from heaven?
It's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah. The food from the heavens, food from the gods. Think about it though. What kind of food is this? Well,
Gone from other places. Fresh.
it's not fresh.
Canned,
It's canned.
and
Look at this. Crate upon crate of canned goods, right? Amazing. Canned goods. Tomatoes, peaches, beans, apricot, canned hams, corned beef, hundreds of gallons of water, paper towels, plastic jerry jugs, toilet paper, paper plates, plastic trash bags, stuffed with blankets. He held his forehead in his hand. Oh my God, he said. He looked at the boy. Looked back at the boy. It's all right, he said. Come down, Papa. Come down and see. He stood on the lamp, on the step, and went and took the boy by the hand. Come on, he said. It's all right. What did you find? I found everything. Everything. Wait till you see. Now, what does it mean? What has he found? He's found everything. It's, on one hand, it's a miracle. Okay. It's manna from heaven. It's the most precious things on earth. He describes it, middle of page 139. It's the richness of a vanished world. The richness, the most precious, valuable richness of a vanished world. The boy is shocked. Why is this here? The boy said, is it real? Oh yes, it's real. They're incredulous, right? Totally incredulous. Now, what is McCarthy doing here? What is he doing? What's he trying to get us, the readers, to do? Yes. Well done. That is what he's doing. Well done. Say it louder, Emily, please, so we can write it down. So, he's trying, McCarthy is trying. You're right. Say it louder. Yes. He's trying to make readers, well done, appreciate what we have. You're totally right. He is. That's very true. Okay. Now, what he's doing is, he's using a technique, right? Give me 10 more minutes, okay? He's using a technique called the technique of defamiliarization. And he's used it before, right? Let me explain this. Defamiliarization is it's a literary term coming from the beginning of the 20th century. It's a concept, literary concept, it's introduced by a Russian formalist, right? Introduced by Russian formalists. There's a name called how does it pronounce? What's his name? Victor I can't pronounce it. He's a Russian. He's a formalist. He says that, look, the best writers make us see the world with new eyes. Right? The best literature makes us see the world with new eyes. How? Well, they use things like imagery, right? They make us see our world anew. So we have this world imagined in literature, right? And we have the real world, our world, we experience, right? By reading good literature that defamiliarizes our world, do you understand? It makes us look up from the book and try to appreciate our world anew, which is what Eleni is saying here. He's making us appreciate what we have now through this technique of defamiliarization. Because what he's doing here is he's making the mundane seem miraculous. And he's done this before. Do you remember the can of Coke? Remember the can of Coke, guys? Remember they shared that moment? It was the most beautiful, touching, tender moment in 21st century literature. It's a can of Coke, guys. But he is making the mundane seem miraculous. Why? Because, here's the thing, guys. He wants us to realize how magical and miraculous is our world, or capitalist world, right? Yeah, we take it for granted. How many cans of Coke are there in the world? How many chicken legs are there in the world? How many cans of tomato soup are there in the world? How many cans of sardines are in the world? We take them for granted. But in this world that he imagines, a can of peaches is a miracle. it's magical. He wants us to stop taking things for granted, because that's what we're doing. And he's making us appreciate just how magical, miraculous is our capitalist world. Guys, mobile phones, it's miraculous. We actually think about it. Imagine somebody from 200-300 years ago time traveling, coming to us today. The world would seem totally confounding, so magical. Do you understand? Like a photograph. So miraculous, so magical for somebody 200 years ago. Do you understand? The problem is, what are we doing with our world? We're taking it for granted. We're taking nature for granted. And make no mistakes, guys. This is a novel which is kind of influenced by what's happening in the world today. We can read this as an eco-critical novel. It's trying to make us aware of how we've taken our world for granted. We are in danger of losing it, right? Guys, the fish in the seas, the bees in the bees in the fields, the birds in the skies, what's happening to them at the moment? That's right, it's called the sixth great extinction. Now, this wasn't talked about much in the 1980s or beginning of 1990s, but by the turn of the millennium, okay, it had become more and more part of everyday consciousness. Do you understand? Oh, as a dystopian warning. Yes, exactly. And he is. It's the darkest of dystopias. There are real bad guys, worse than any other bad guys in the whole literature out there. But just what's happened to the world, it's burnt black. Ashes are everywhere. You can't see. Okay? Cows have gone extinct. Cans of Coke are like the Holy Grail. And just being able to share one with his son is the most beautiful, spectacular, amazing occasions. He's trying to get us to see the world anew and appreciate the world anew. Maybe, guys, to appreciate the world as a child appreciates the world. Because a lot of the world looks like a miracle to a very small child. Okay? And in that way, this technique, defamiliarization, I think it allows us to appreciate what he's doing here, what he's up to. Okay? And don't forget, guys, these are cans of ham, beef, pears. Is it real? Is it real? These are the best pears you've ever tasted. Okay? This is the best drink, the can of Coke, right? It's incredible. The problem is, we're so jaded, experienced, and lucky. In a way, we're so lucky. We're born into this world. The boy is born into a different world. And in this world, canned goods are like things from heaven. Okay, guys, what a novel this is. What a work of fiction. I hope you're enjoying it. For next week, we're going to go from page 151. Oh, sorry. Did it? Yeah, 151? It was 61. Ooh. I only read to 151. It was, you're right, 161. Let's say we go to page 203. Middle of page 203. Again next Monday. Again next Monday. Okay, thank you guys. Is that okay?
Sorry?
Is that okay? 60 pages? Okay.
60 or 40?
Well, it's from page 161. Ah, it's actually less. It's actually less, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's actually quite less. But it's fine. Oh, and guys, the book is rich. There's a rereading actually helps. Okay, so we're going to go to page 203 for next Monday. Have a nice day.